What's up everyone, this is Etalenti. How are you guys doing? This is a video that's been really requested and it's going to be an important one for producers, for artists, for everybody. I'm going to go over all the different types of licenses that exist out there for beat leasing, exclusive beats, everything that has to do with selling and buying beats online. Gonna keep the intro super short because the video is already a lot of stuff. So let's get right into it. Alright, let's get right into it. So before we get into all the details of like the different licenses, I wanted to kind of make like a little disclaimer of something that not a lot of people talk about, but it's really important to know. So whenever a producer says buy a beat or somebody buys a beat, I think it's really important to know that they're not buying the beat. They're buying a license of usage of that beat. Now, that's the same thing that happens when you buy a CD, when you buy a song on iTunes, when you buy a DVD with a movie, when you buy a video game, every single form of media. When you buy it, you're not buying the video game, you're not buying the movie. You're buying a license to use it under certain conditions. The movie is still owned by whatever company, the video game is still owned by whatever company, but by selling you the DVD or by selling you the digital download, they sell you a license to use that particular game under certain conditions. This is the same exact things that happens with beats. Even with exclusive licenses, there's still licenses of usage. That's why you'd never sell a beat. Like nobody owns the beat other than you. That's always going to be your beat if you made it, even if you sell it exclusively. The bigger, the more expensive the license gets, then obviously those conditions, those terms of the license are going to get looser and wider, and they're going to cover a lot more ground. So yeah, I just thought that was important to make clear because not a lot of people talk about it, and it's something that's like kind of key to understanding how selling beats works. In this video right now, I'm going to start talking about all the different types of licenses that there are. I'm not going to get into contracts because that's like a whole different thing. Maybe I'll make another video in the future just about that. But it's important to know that companies like BeatStars, portals like BeatStars, they offer you pre-made templates for contracts of all these leases. And they're actually really, really well made. And they cover like pretty much anything, especially when you're starting out and you don't really know what to change or what to do. Just use the templates. They're great. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's get into all the different types of licenses. So there are two main categories of beat selling licenses. We have leasing licenses and we have exclusive licenses. So the main difference between these two is that the leasing licenses can be sold multiple times to multiple people. So you can sell 100 leases of the same beat to 100 different people, and that's part of the deal. Exclusive licenses, on the other hand, are exclusive. So you can only sell them one time to one person, and once that's sold, from that point on, you can't sell it to anybody else. So you need to remove it from the store. It's gone. It's just for that person to use. Let's start with leasing licenses and get into all the different types. Each producer kind of puts their own twist on it. They create, names for them. They do like different conditions. Like everybody kind of makes their own version of it. But I feel like there's like a general rule that pretty much everybody follows, and it's kind of like the norm, or at least a good starting point. So there are generally 4 types of leasing licenses. The first one is a simple MP3 license. Now when you buy this license, which is the cheapest one, it comes with an MP3 version of that beat that you bought, and it comes with a small number of plays and streams that you can do. It's usually like 5,000, so you can sell maybe like up to 1,000 copies, and you can stream up to 5,000. Now these conditions can change producer by producer, but this is kind of like a general rule of thumb. Also, when you buy this type of licensing, you're not allowed to play the song live usually. The song is not allowed to go on the radio. So there are a lot of limitations. And I recommend this license for people that are putting out maybe like their first single or their first mixtape, and they're trying to like really save money. And they know that they're not going to get like a million plays because it's like their first project or something. So yeah, this is a good license for something like that. They still can get the beat and they still can like, do it like legit and have it right and put it on Spotify and do all of that. But with very limited numbers and with very limited control over the beat. The second leasing license is the WAV file license. Now with this one, you get the WAV and you get the MP3. With the WAV, you have a higher quality beat because the file is bigger, so it's less compressed, so it sounds better. And also it generally comes with like basically the same conditions as before, just a little boosted. So you have more sales, you have more streams, you have more plays and all of that stuff. Depending on the producer sometimes allows for radio play on this, maybe just like limited radio play, just 1 or 2 stations. And it allows for like some sort of like live performance or maybe even a music video sometimes. It depends producer by producer. But generally it's the same as the MP3 license with just like boosted stats. and a better sounding WAV file. The third leasing license is a trackouts license. Now, what are trackouts? For people that don't know, trackouts are what are also called stems. They're basically individual tracks for all the instruments. So you have one track for like a kick drum, one track for a snare, one track for your 808. You have all the instruments like separated into different tracks. So with this type of license, when you get the stems, you get the trackouts, you're able to really customize that beat and make it fit perfectly with the song that you're writing. So if you need to cut a section shorter, if you're like, man, this section is great, but that synth sound is like really loud, you can turn it down. You just turn down that. Or you can even cut it out if you don't like one synth sound but you like everything else. Like, you can really customize your beat because you have all the instruments separated. You can hire an engineer and let him do a different mix of it if you didn't like the mix in the first place. Like, you can really take control of the beat and do a lot with it by having all the different tracks separated. And also you always get the MP3 and the WAV file. Like, every license also includes everything from the license before that. The last one is the Trackouts Unlimited license. This one is pretty much the same as the Trackouts license as far as like what you get, but with everything unlimited. So you can have unlimited plays, unlimited sales, unlimited streams, and all of that. You can have unlimited songs on the radio. You can have unlimited live shows. You can have a music video with it. You know, you can basically do whatever you want with that beat. But it's still non-exclusive. So it's a license of usage that it's non-exclusive, so it can be sold to multiple people. This takes me to the exclusive license, which is the last license that we're going to talk about. Now this one, as far as like the rights that you have over the beat, it's very, very similar to the Trackouts Unlimited. So everything is unlimited. You can kind of do whatever you want with it. You don't own the beat, like I said before, you just own a license to it, but you can use it pretty much in any way you like. The difference from this one, and the reason why it's the most expensive one, is that you have the exclusivity of that beat, which means that you're the only person that can use it from that point on, and the beat gets taken off from the stores and it's yours to use for whatever you need to use it for. So this is usually the type of license that, like, for example, if you get like what's called a major placement, like if you get your beat placed with a major artist or like a bigger independent artist, they're probably going to want to buy an exclusive because they're not going to want that beat, you know, be sold to like a bunch of different people. So yeah, this is like the top tier of licensing, but, and I'm going to say it one last time, it's really important to know that nobody's buying the rights to the beat. They're still buying a license of usage. It's a really big one, it's a really wide one, it's a really like, it's one that allows you for a lot of freedom, but it's still just a license for the beat. The producer always owns the beat. So that's kind of like an overview of all the licenses that exist out there. Some people do a few things like differently, or maybe they don't do trackouts, or maybe they don't do the WAV one. Everybody kind of does their own, but as a general rule, this is kind of what you're gonna find out there. Now, one thing that's really important to me, this is kind of like my personal opinion, but I like to recommend to each artist, I like to recommend a certain type of license, because, you know, not everybody needs an exclusive license. So I get a lot of people that are like on their first song or something, they don't have a budget, they just started out and they want an exclusive license. And when you tell them that it's expensive, they're like, wow, that's so expensive. And it's like, well, yeah, because it's not meant for you. That license is probably meant for someone that's much further in their career, which means that they probably have a little more budget to invest in what they're doing, which means that they can afford an exclusive license because they need it. Maybe right now at the point where you're at, you don't really need that license quite yet, and you can totally get by with maybe like a WAV license, or maybe even like trackouts if you have an engineer friend, or if you have another producer friend that wants to kind of put their own twist on it. So yeah, I think it's really important to understand these licenses, at least the basis of it, not only for the producers but also for the artists, to be able to know which one they need to buy and to not spend too little or too much and just buy the wrong one for something that they just didn't need. Alright, that kind of covers everything. This is a really big topic with a lot of like nuances to it, so I hope I did a good job to like kind of, you know, putting it all together in one like sort of short video and kind of cover everything that you need to know about this, at least to get started. If you have any further questions that I didn't answer in this video, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. I will be more than happy to try and respond. And also, if I missed something important and you're a producer and you're like, dude, you didn't even talk about that, write it in the comments and I'll try to fix it. If this video was helpful, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell. I post a bunch of videos. I'm trying to do more and more and more. Like, I want to get where I post every day, basically. It's taking a lot of time, but I love doing this and videos are super fun to make. So yeah, thank you for your support. If you want to hit me up privately, if you have a question, if you just want to say hi, whatever it is, don't hesitate to contact me on Instagram. I'll put it right here. Just write me a DM, and as soon as I can, I will respond. All right, I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. I'll see you next time, and as always, be positive, and positive things will happen.